and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, you guys, I hope you had a great weekend. So many of you took the time to watch my special, either on Patreon or Amazon Prime Video Direct, and I love hearing it. Thank you so much. I've read every comment, every review, and it means the world to me. So thank you for watching it and telling your friends about it, because it's really a word of mouth kind of movement. I had a great time in Mammoth Mountain. Someone wrote, "You went to Mammoth Lake?" Remember that? You went to, what was it called? You went to Bass Lake? Yes, I did. I went to Mammoth Lakes with my family, and I was just having a wonderful time just with my kids. And then it got better because this guy screamed at me at Gomez's Mexican restaurant, and he said, "Heather!" And I was like, "Oh, got recognized." And then I saw him on my hike to Rainbow Falls. So to that juicy scooper that stopped me and asked for a photo, you really made the vacation. So again, don't ever say that you can't stop me on a vacation. And I'm going to get into a bunch of topics today, a bunch of real juicy stuff on Beverly Hills, New York. And then we have a great interview all the way from Australia with Hannah herself, the recently fired first stew that Captain Sandy had to let go because there were supposed drugs on board that she brought on. So she's going to explain it all, and you can weigh in on it. And it was a real juicy conversation, and she's a really fun, sweet girl to talk to who's very pregnant. So let's get into the hot topics. Guys, my prediction about Lori Loughlin and Massimo was not totally correct, but it was correct in the sense that I said that he would get more time than she. My prediction was always that he would get sentenced to 4 years and she would get 2, but he would do 2 years and she would do 9 months. Well, that was before, as we got closer to the end of this legal matter, that there was some speculation in did the FBI possibly entrap some of these parents in having Singer, the ringleader, kind of lure them into certain conversations that really got them more in trouble. So was there a bit of entrapment happening here? And I think because there was some evidence that was murky in that, and that they thought, okay, let's make a better deal with them. And I think that's why they got less time. So she only got 2 months and he got 5 months. So I was right in that he would get more because he was the one that had emails and phone calls that said, like, I'm doing it my way, or, there was just more evidence against him that he seemed to be pushing the girls going to SC and not doing their work. But anyway, there we go. Now, a lot of people were saying, "Heather, what do you think's going to happen? Is she going to write a book about it? Is she going to, come out with some documentary? No, this is what Aunt Becky should do. Go do your time. Don't try to profit off of it. Don't write a book about it. It's over. Let people forget it. Go away for a couple years and then maybe slowly move back into the world. I think people will forget and forgive you. I also feel like it could just be done. You could be done, Lori, like being in Hallmark movies and acting. You're getting a little older. There's not that many roles. I don't think you were like Meryl Streep to begin with. So it's not like, oh my God, there's this great grandma role waiting around the corner. But could she be a grandma 5 years from now in a Hallmark movie? Possibly. I don't know. We just did Juicy Scoop history last week. People do forget and forgive a lot. And this was definitely a juicy scandal, but nobody was murdered. Nobody was sexually violated. So I think as juicy and as bad as it was, I think some positive came out of it, in that now we're aware that this stuff happens, and hopefully it'll even the playing field for kids. And they are going to actually do some time. So that's my prediction for them. Paris Hilton, my prediction has come true. The documentary that we still have yet to see, that there are articles about it every single day, where she is going to break her silence about what happened to her. I was right. They sent her off. Her parents sent her off to a boarding school for troubled kids in Utah, which is exactly what I said it was going to be, kind of like a tough love kind of, place where you have to go on hikes and stuff. And they were mean to her, and they screamed at her, and they told her that she couldn't call her parents, and we're going to hear more about it. And the parents sent her when she was 17 because she was out and partying all the time in New York as a teenager. So I was right about that. Right about a lot of things. Okay. A Twitter war broke out over the weekend between Rose McGowan and her former co-star, Alyssa Milano. Remember, they're both on Charmed. Well, Rose McGowan was the first person who, in a tweet, ironically and coincidentally, revealed that she had been raped, and it came out that it was Harvey Weinstein and other people, and her story really exposed what was going to happen with Harvey Weinstein and how Harvey Weinstein's people that he hired were harassing her and trying to shut her up and trying to keep it down. And then Alyssa Milano started a tweet one night about sexual, whatever your story is, rape, misconduct, maybe you're at work, and tell us your story, me too, to the point of being flashed, to being molested by someone, to being harassed at work. And that started the growth of the Me Too movement. And remember, we saw Alyssa Milano in the back of the hearings for the Supreme Court Justice. What was his name? The guy reminds me, I went to high school with every guy like this. What's his name? Yes, Kavanaugh. And remember, we saw Alyssa Milano's, she went to the hearing for Kavanaugh. And so people see them both as like really strong women in this movement. Well, Rose McGowan came out basically saying, I don't like Alyssa Milano. I never liked her. Our work environment was toxic. I cried every time Charmed got renewed. She jumped on my coattails of Me Too. Then somebody sent me a Nightline interview she did a while ago with Juju Chang, who said, where she said, well, Alyssa is married to a CAA agent. And to me, the CAA agents basically are the ones that have perpetuated this pimp mentality in Hollywood. And it's CAA who started the Time's Up movement. Then Patricia Arquette, in this Twitter war that happened over the weekend, she starts getting into it with Rose McGowan, because Rose McGowan is writing things negatively about Joe Biden and Democrats, and Patricia Arquette is defending them. And then she's like, oh, just wear another black dress and make another speech that no one wants to hear. And so it just got really juicy. And at first I was like, oh, can I talk about this? Is it bordering on political stuff, which I promise you guys, I don't want to get there. But being that it's two girls that were on a CW show called Charmed and involved Patricia Arquette, I just said, you know what? This takes precedent, and it's just too juicy. Okay, now speaking of Married, Selling Sunset. A lot of you guys have watched this show. I had Christine on the show. This is the Netflix show done by the same people that did The Hills. So it's shot beautifully, and it's a little scripted. Let's be honest, okay? Anybody that thinks it isn't, wake up and smell the real estate. Okay, so they're realtors, and this one girl, Mary, has a beautiful wedding, which is, I think, the finale of the first season. And she marries this hot French guy who's 10 years her junior or more. Maybe they're 12 years apart. And turns out they were actually married 19 months before the TV wedding. Well, I knew it because I heard it from Christine, who told me when she came on the show. I kept it to myself because I'm told to keep things to myself. And when I'm told, I do. But even when she told me, I didn't feel like it was a big secret. I didn't think it was a big juicy thing, because I'm like, well, he is French, she is foreign. It might have been a 90-day kind of a thing. And then since they never had a really big wedding, let's have that big wedding. Let's capture it on TV. The producers are thrilled with it. But the fact that you were truly married and there were, plot points of like, we don't know if this is going to happen, we're having troubles, then that feels a little fake. Also in it, Christine, who is really fun and the biggest personality, she's been having issues with Chrishell, who is the one that whose husband dumped her on the show, Justin Hartley, and he is also the star of Us. And here it is, you guys. Yes, they're realtors, but come on, it's a lot more fun to be a TV star than a realtor. Being that I was both, let me tell you, being on TV is a million times better than truly trying to sell a house in the heat, putting up real estate signs, showing people 50 houses and having them buy from someone else, trying to do a listing presentation and not getting it, sweating it out till you get the check. It's not an easy job. And I know I got a lot of realtors who listen to me, and I trust me, it's not an easy job. So this other girl puts on TikTok that that in one of the scenes, Christine was saying it was her listing and it wasn't her listing. Oh God, you guys, who cares? Okay. Obviously, this show was created for entertainment. Real estate's the backdrop. There's real estate porn. The girls are cute. They wear cute dresses. It's like Real Housewives meets $1 million listing. And just take it for what it is. Enjoy the modern homes and the cute outfits and the little bitchy comments and the little twins. Okay. That's what you're getting with the show. And you got a real treat by watching the actual breakup of Kershell and Justin happen in front of your eyes. So I don't really care. You show other people's listings. This girl trying to make waves on TikTok. Jason was my agent, not Christine. Come on. I can't imagine having to try to film a show when I was a realtor. There was definitely not enough happening every day. You got to make it look like it all happened in one day. Like you got up, you had a listing appointment, you showed 2 houses, then you had a listing appointment that night, then you went to dinner, then you had a fight with your husband. Of course, we're going to have to do it like this. This is the way TV's made. God, people. All right, I want to show you this. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Oh, we won't put you back. We just told you stack. Be like, give 'em back. Do the bobo, do the bobo. Bada, bada, bada. Do the bobo,
The bobo, do the bobo. You're probably wondering, Heather, what the hell did Amir Domes just get raped by? Okay, it is Farrah Abraham's mother. Farrah Abraham, one of the original OGs of Teen Mom. Her mom, who always seemed to kind of appear normal, and Farrah to be the awful teenage daughter. Hold on, I have to cough. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard at that. Okay. She has decided she is a rapper. And she did this song, and you guys, I have this on YouTube. Go to my youtube.com/Heather McDonald. Subscribe, tell people. She's wearing just a netting with her nips covered by dragons and like a leather jacket that's cut off right before your boobies. And she's got a mask on, so she's being responsible. And she's dancing, do the bobo, do the bobo. And bobo, as you know, is like a Thai iced tea that has little black gummies in it. I've never gotten into it. I feel like it's got like iced tea and milk and some black gummies. I don't get what is fun about a bobo. Kelly. Is it a boba? Well, then what's she dancing about? Kelly says that's a boba. This whole time I thought she was dancing about that gross iced tea. Well, no, if you know what Farrah Abraham's mom is dancing about with the bobo, please tell me. But it is one of the most ridiculous, hilarious things. Someone sent it to me a couple weeks ago. I honestly forgot. And then I came across it and I just said, I just have to listen to this a little bit more. Here we go. This is the dance. Do the bobo. But it's not about an iced tea, apparently. Good luck to you. Other dancing musical people in the world. There is a French film that won a lot of Sundance Awards, and it's called Cuties in English, but in French, it's called Minomes, but I don't know if I'm saying it right. And it's really interesting because not everybody, a lot of people got really upset because the poster for it in America is these young girls, probably middle school age, in like crop top, booty shorts, knee pads, kind of dancing outfits, like gymnastic dancing outfits, but with the midriff exposed. And people in today's world is like, why are we over sexualizing children this age, especially girls? Netflix, take this programming off of Netflix. No more cuties. And other people were saying, did you watch the movie? It's a French movie. There is, English subtitles, and it's really amazing. And it's about a coming of an age, and it's, girls from different backgrounds in France and different ethnicities and different cultures coming together. And I guess at the end from the preview I saw is when they get their outfits together and do this like dancing, singing routine. So, I mean, I just find it like, yeah, I do think it's weird that there's two completely different covers. One for French, they're like look like they're like coming home from school and like running in normal outfits, and then the other one is like very much like dance moms type of girls being a little, wearing these sexy outfits. So, I don't really know how I feel about it, but I do think that, it is weird. And especially, I think now we're hypersensitive to the over sexualization of children with, the Epstein trial and, sex trafficking and child trafficking and just everyone just being really aware of it. And then looking back at the kind of entertainment we had even like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, where people normalized it. And even the movie Lolita, which people loved, which was like a classic book, which is about a woman and her daughter. And then the woman gets a boyfriend and they're both like, the guy's like 40. And Lolita, the daughter, basically is the aggressor and goes for the guy and they have sex. I mean, and people like love that movie. It's been done twice, been remade, and it's just extremely disturbing. And you look back and you're like, well, wait, who wrote this movie? Did a man write this movie? Why are they trying to change our opinion that a young girl could ever be the aggressor, that it would ever be okay, that she would ever want it, that she's ever at the same level of the person that is, a man and 20 years older than her. So I think that's why people are saying, no, this isn't okay. This has to stop here. We can't continue this as some type of entertainment. So I don't know, but let me know if you saw it, what you thought of it. I have not seen it, but my son Brandon knew about Cuties. He's like, yeah, there's a big petition to get Cuties taken off. Oh, he's up on that stuff. Okay, again, trying to stay not political, but I just find this very interesting and juicy. Kellyanne Conway, who has been working for Trump since before he won the presidency. She ran his campaign and then stayed on with him. Her husband, George Conway, he at some point started this thing called the Lincoln Project, which is Republicans against Donald Trump. When I first heard about that happening, I was like, wait, how are they staying married? But I guess they're still staying married. They have 4 kids, one of whom has 680,000 followers on TikTok, in which she talks about how she's personally extremely left and liberal and says horrible things about her parents and horrible things like they both physically abused me, emotionally abused me, and I'm trying to get emancipated. So she just said the other day, she'd left Twitter, then she came back on left TikTok, then came back on TikTok. And last night, both Kellyanne Conway and her husband, George Conway, I guess tweeted or announced that they are both leaving their jobs. And Kellyanne said, I have 4 kids, all who are starting school on Zoom on Monday from middle school to high school. And I need to have less drama, more mama. So I'm just going to focus on my family. And then he left as well. And then she took to Instagram Live, the girl who just finished doing the WAP dance in her bedroom, which she posted, and getting a lot of support from her followers. And she says, I still want to be emancipated. I'm afraid that now that they both left their jobs, I'm going to have a harder time being emancipated because I'm going to be 16 in October. And I just want away from this like toxic, horrible household. I'm in this room where I just did the WAP dance and I'm also getting, abused. And but she's got a lot of supporters and she says, thank you to all my family, all my followers. You're amazing. This is my Venmo. So I guess people are sending her money so that she says, I've got some pro bono attorneys, but I'm also looking to, maybe hire attorneys to get away. And everybody that really feels strongly with her politically want her to leave the Conways. And I just find the whole story really interesting, and that, that Kellyanne Conway, left the job, I think is kind of amazing. And hopefully she is leaving the job in order to keep her children and her family intact. And I think that she did the right thing. That would be really scary if your family was in that kind of disarray. I don't think any job is worth it. So That's pretty amazing what's going on there. Okay. So, oh, here they are. This is the daughter. The daughter looks just like her, by the way, like a younger version. Obviously, she's a much younger version. Okay, I talked about on Patreon, patreon.com/Juicy Scoop. Last week, I kept some conversation that Chris and I had for Patreon. Basically, that I was fascinated, and as many of you are, why did Kelly Ripa and Jessica Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld's wife, stop being friends when they were so close? I came up with a theory out of my asshole, okay, that basically I think it might have had to do with something that maybe Jessica was maybe dipping her toe into the talk show arena or something, and it started to bother Kelly. I get into greater detail, but I thought that might have been it. Well, the Juicy Scoopers sent me many other theories with receipts. One I thought was kind of fun is there was an article written about Shoshana's clothing and purse line and what celebrities are fans of it. Shoshana was Jerry Seinfeld's very serious girlfriend before marrying Jessica. And they met when she was 18 and he was like 38. And they were a couple for like 6 or 7 years. And then she went on to be a successful designer. And in this article, it said, fans of her stuff is blah, 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 and Kelly Ripa. Okay, so somebody thought maybe that would have irked Jessica a little bit. The other one is that their daughters are the same age, Kelly Ripa and one of Jessica Seinfeld's daughters, and they perhaps stopped being friends. It was like accusation of bullying going on, and they stopped being friends. And I have to say, as a mom, that is very, very difficult when the moms are really good friends and the kids are really good friends, and then they get to like middle school, teenage, or maybe one goes to a different school, and the one keeps calling the friend, hey, want to come over this weekend? And the other girl's like has a new, fun, exciting life and really doesn't want to go. And then the one mom's calling the mom and being, Kelly, little Seinfeld Jr. wanted your daughter to come over and she's blowing her off. And it makes it really hard for the moms to remain friends, because then you go to your daughter and you're like, can't you still be friends with Seinfeld Jr.? And she's like, God, Mom, why can't I just have my life be my life? Why can't I just be friends with who I want to be friends with? And you never know between girls. One person might be perceived as the bully when the other person's like, actually, she's been saying snarky shit to me for 3 years, Mom. She thinks she's Seinfeld. She's only Seinfeld Jr. And you know what? I kind of want to just do something different. I want to be with my cheerleading friends. We don't know, but it definitely, any parent will tell you, it's very hard, especially with girls, to then remain such good, close female adult friend with the mother. It's very hard. Okay, that's one thing that could happen. And the final thing was, that the Seinfelds were very good friends with Allie Wentworth, who is married to George Stephanopoulos. And he's on Good Morning America. And Allie appears on Good Morning a lot. And as you know, Kelly Ripa was very hurt when Michael Strahan was ripped from her loins and sent over to Good Morning America without ever consulting her. So that was like the one time that she really kind of was pissed and dug her heels and didn't show up for work for a few days after being on TV for 20 years. So I think anything related to that, where she maybe felt someone didn't have her back or didn't feel that, she was totally supported in her opinion of that, maybe that affected it too. So tell me what you guys think of which theory that is. I still want to know. I understand all of it. So there you go with that. Okay, let's get into the Real Housewives of New York. Well, they're still in Cancun, and Ramona is just very, I really think something's wrong with Dorinda. I think she has an anger problem. So I found this article in Health magazine, and it's, do you have an anger issue? And I'm going to just send it to everybody in a group text and see what they think. And Lou comes in and she goes, Ramona, do you realize that you included Dorinda on that text? And she goes, yeah, I did. It's time that we really just face it and just address the fact that she's got a real issue. Well, Dorinda didn't like that. And she had these like crocheted pants that looks like the blanket that sat over the couch of Roseanne's sitcom set for many years. However, up close, they did look kind of cool. I can see why she chose them for Mexico. They actually had like sequins sparkly on them, but on TV and on her, horrible choice. Horrible choice for anybody, honestly, unless you're like the size 00. You'd have to be so small and thin to make these work, and they just not work on her. She busts into Ramona and Sonia's room, and she's like, really? You wrote me a text? Oh, I got something I'm sending for you. Oh, it's a good one. It's good. Get ready for the articles. And she starts Googling and sending on the group text all the times that Ramona has been written up in page 6 or whatever for being a rude person at a party, which we know there's lots of them. So she's like, get ready, because I got my friend Vicky, I got my friend Sarah. You don't remember when you spoke to the waiter that way? Okay. And she's like, you know what? Dorinda, you look beautiful. You look beautiful. I like your sequins pants. I think you look great. Okay. Get ready. And she leaves with her crocheted pants out. And Ramona goes, I don't know what her problem is. I think she could be really jealous of me because I have a lot of dates. I have a lot of girlfriends. I like to go out. I like to drink. I have a lot of sex. I have a lot of good times. And you know what? She just stays at home. It's really upsetting me. And she walks away, and Sonia goes, do you have the picture of the shit? Oh, yeah. She goes, did you just poop through, because she had a robe on? And she dropped a tiny turd in the room on the Mexican throw rug between Sonia and Ramona's beds. Now, we've talked about Ramona pooping. It has been a storyline this season. And my God, they got a lot of it on tape, and they certainly played it. So she goes, yeah, actually I did. I was so upset. Dorinda upset me so much that, yeah, that's right. I pooped my pants. Sorry. But she didn't have pants on. Hence why there was a little poo on the bottom. They go out to have drinks, and Lou tries to talk to her, and again, she just doesn't want to hear it. And then they sit down for dinner, and Ramona comes, and she's being really nice, and she's been told that she's rude, and since she was sent the 18 articles of when she was rude to the wait staff. So she's like, you know what? To the chef, this is such a great meal. I don't even know why we ever left. I wish we'd have just had every meal right here because you're such a great chef. I can't wait to, what are these called? I've never think I had them before. Tacos? Oh, okay. Very exotic. I think I'm ready to just have a really great Mexican taco. And then the person comes over, the waiter, to serve some wine. And she does not like the wine. She says, why is the red wine chilled? And I'd like it room temperature. Guys, I have to tell you something. As a boozer myself, and someone who loves to go to Cabo and Cancun and other Mexican cities, the wine there, it's different. I've never been there where there's been like a Napa Valley choice. In fact, I have thought about in the future, if I ever get to a wealthy level enough, like high level, I think I'll honestly make sure that where I'm going has some Napa Valley, some BV Rutherford, some Duckhorn, because sometimes you just really want a glass of red wine. I have accepted that the red wine and white wine in Mexico is just not what I like as a flavor. And I stick with just tequila type drinks for the rest of the trip. I don't try to go wine. Well, I've told you that Ramona and I do share certain things in common. And so she was just not enjoying that wine. But she put it in her hands to warm it up so that it would be more the temperature that she wanted. And they all start ripping on her for that. And they leave Mexico and have a good time. And then we go to Luann's show. She's practicing her new Marry, Fuck, Kill show. And Sonia doesn't show up. And I'm like, really, Sonia? Do you want to be in the show or not? Here I've got this whole fun thing I'm doing where I'm going to go, and here is Sonia Rita. And here's Sonia Rita. And Sonia Rita is not here. And she calls Sonia, and Sonia's like, oh my God, Lou, today's the night of my Century 21 fashion show. Why would I ever book 2 things in one day? Really? I'm an impromptu person. I don't need to do a big rehearsal. I get drunk and I take off my dress. What do I have to do? So they get to the big fashion show for Sonia by Sonia Morgan. And Ramona's wearing a Sonia dress. And they focus again on Ramona and her drink, which, if you don't know how to make a Ramona singer-stinger by now, I don't know what's wrong with you, okay? Because I'm going to tell you how you make it. This is what I really like. She goes up to the guy. She goes, this is what I like. I like a glass with a lot of ice. Everyone in the Hamptons calls it a Ramona, okay? A lot of ice, a lot of Tito's, a little bit of club soda, a little bit of mint muddled, if you could do that, and then some fresh lime juice. and he gives it to her, and the straw that he gives it to her doesn't work. So she has her own straws in her purse, which I love because you guys know if you came to my live shows, God willing, we'll see each other soon. You do get the Juicy Scoop reusable dishwasher safe straws that in a little appropriate bag that you can carry out with you, just like Ramona. So when you have your drinks, it's not paper falling in your hands. It's a Juicy Scoop straw. So she drinks that. And then we have a big shebang of that they, it's forget about the toaster oven. It's these clothes, and Sonia's doing it. And they all hug. And Dorinda is like, I just hope that finally she does something with it. And by something, I mean a paycheck, okay? Again, Dorinda, this whole episode is awful. She's mean to everybody. She's jealous. I don't know what her deal is. I really like Dorinda. I think we're going to find out once she's watched it all back at the reunion. But, I hopefully she'll be supportive of. She seemed pretty supportive of the Sonia outfits, and I have to say the dresses looked pretty cute. There's this one sequence number that I was like, that's pretty cute. So good for you, Sonia. All right, now let's get into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Well, the saga continues. Who is telling the truth, Denise or Brandy? And Denise is in these confessionals. She's wearing a leopard top. And she seems pretty lucid and a little buzzed. I'm not saying she is. She just seems like she doesn't give a shit. And in it, she's like, here's the thing. If I came home and told Aaron, Brandy and I slept together, he'd be like, why didn't you invite me? So now she's saying in the confessionals, I did not sleep with Brandy, but if I did, it wouldn't have mattered. So I think it's interesting that she says that now, because I think the argument would be, why wasn't that the first thing that came out of your mouth when we brought it up to you? But I think she could have said, it was such a lie. I was so shocked that I just didn't even know where to begin, that this was even happening and happening on camera. But now that I've had time to think about it, I'm still saying it's a lie, but it really wouldn't have mattered because I am a sexy chick and I do occasionally mess around with girls. I mean, she basically confirmed that she did by saying that. But she says, no, that's never happened between Brandy and myself. So then Garcelle says something. She goes, Garcelle's like, I don't know what's up with Lisa Rinna. She seems very harsh, very mean to Denise. And she's always like, own it, own it. And Garcelle goes, you know what? Maybe I don't want to own it. Maybe I don't need to own it. Okay. And I kind of loved that line. Then there was some controversy, you guys, with a conversation between Lisa Rinna and her second daughter, Amelia Gray. And Amelia Gray is here wearing two different hats in the same scene. So a lot of people think that was this reset to share this conversation, because the conversation starts and Lisa Rinna is helping kind of organize Amelia's stuff before she goes to her $5,700 a month apartment that Mauricio and Kyle's daughter found her, who's a realtor. And she's like, I'm really proud of her. I don't feel great about her going on her own, but she is on her own and owning it. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you just got to let that little bird fly. I'm like, in a $5,700 a month apartment. But we know that the girls are influencers and they do modeling and who cares? So she's happy to have her home. But her hat changes. Now, I saw people show both the photos of the two different hats. And there definitely are two different hats. They're both black, but they're absolutely different writing on the lid. And I read that someone from production said she really did change her hat mid-scene. And I kind of believe it because after the second hat's on and she starts to talk about her anorexia with her mom, she's kind of like fixing it on her head like she had just put it on. And she is going through all of her stuff. So there is a chance that you're like, changing your hats and talking, but it is highly suspect because it is a kind of a juicy storyline that Garcelle has called Lisa Rinna on, saying, do you think you dancing naked, or not naked, but dancing in a bikini or underwear and your perfect tiny body has had any effect on Amelia's, eating disorders? And so Lisa Rinna goes, so Amelia, let me ask you something. Garcelle thinks that some of my dancing on Instagram might have something to do with your eating disorders. And they shoot to Amelia, and she's kind of laughing. She's kind of smiling, which is why I thought it was a little bit, I don't think it was redone, but I think she knew the conversation was going to happen. And then she's like, well, Garcelle can go fuck herself because my eating disorder has nothing to do with you. I looked up diets without you ever knowing. In fact, you have nothing to do with my life. Yeah, at one time I blamed you, but I don't anymore. I'm like, that's weird. And she's like, you're just a tiny person, Mom. Like, people just body shame, whether you're too tiny or too big. People just body shame. And I've told you guys, I was in an audition waiting room with Lisa Rinna, and somebody brought up her weight, which I do think is weird that someone brought it up. Like, I do think it's weird. Someone's like, how do you stay so thin? And she just said, very matter of fact, very honestly, she's like, I just don't enjoy eating that much. I just don't. It just takes up time, and I'm just not someone that's really into food, and I've just never really ate that much or enjoyed food that much. And I think that could be true. I think there are people that really just are not foodies. They're just not into eating. Some guys are like that. Some girls are like that. And in the process, they're able to maintain a really great body. I mean, her body is amazing. It does not look too thin to me. It looks completely proportioned. And she might just be really blessed in that that's her body type. And she's been able to maintain it because she doesn't feel like she's depriving herself of anything. So there you go. But the daughter's doing better. She's a year free from anorexia. Okay, so then we get to, we're finally here. I'm going to host the greatest baby shower for Teddy Mellencamp's third baby. And we're going to have it at Bupa de Beppo in Encino, where I got to design the Capri Room, mind you. This is the first time that I've ever designed a restaurant room, and I'm so excited. It's a really big deal. So she says we're going to have it there. And let me also remind you, yes, people, this is where Phil Hartman's wife had her last two Cosmos at the bar before she went home and murdered her husband and then killed herself. It was at this same Bupa de Beppo. Okay? Just because you guys brought it up, I didn't want you to think I didn't know that. And not that you shouldn't go there. It's just a little part of history. Okay, so Kim shows up. She's so excited to have new teeth, new boobs, and this wig. It looks like, literally the wig looks like Miss Piggy's wig. Remember how Miss Piggy had like the best hair? Yes, I'm talking about the Muppet. Just a lot of hair, and she has a headband, and she's so happy. It's a little weird. She's like, hi, oh my God, I'm happy to be here. Oh my gosh, Teddy, you're having a baby. And then Lisa Rinna shows up, and she's got a big, long ponytail. There's so much fake hair. Bupa de Beppo has never seen this much fake hair in 35 years. And she comes with a big ponytail, and they're hugging and kissing each other. And she goes, did you bring a bunny? Yes, I brought a bunny. Oh my God. And they're laughing. And they bring up the fact that Amelia is dating her. Okay, so Kim's daughter married a guy, and that guy's brother is Amelia's boyfriend. So she's like, so, I mean, at one point, we might be actually, Harry fucking Hamlin would die. We might be relatives through marriage. I'm like, what? Can you imagine Kim Richards and I basting a turkey together? I'm like, yeah, we can. You've been on a TV show together for 8 years, whatever. So Denise FaceTimes Dorit. And Dorit goes, hello, Denise. I'm excited to come and see the Capri Room. And she's like, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling good. I have a fever, or I can't make it out from Malibu to Encino. But you guys have a great time without me. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, my love. So then they get into the Capri Room, which a lot of people were critical of. I don't know what you guys expect to do with a room that's inside of a restaurant. It's not like it's overlooking a waterfall. It's not like it's outside. It's not like you could have a lot of like live plants or something. But she did her best, and she chose a really bright yellow tablecloth, like the brightest lemon that you could ever get in Capri. Now, I think what kind of hurt this photo is that she also incorporated pink because Teddy was having a girl. And I really just think the yellow and pink were the most jarring things. I think if we'd not seen all the baby stuff and we'd just seen the room alone, it would have been good. But I think, she had some cute prints. She had a lot of leaves with like lemons everywhere. And it's the Capri Room, everybody. So then Teddy gets in there. Oh, first we see Erica Jane. She shows up with a pink wig. I'm wearing the baby's gender on my head before I go and star in Chicago as Roxy Hart. That's right. So she pops in wearing like a dominatrix outfit and a pink wig, and she sits down to have some chicken parmesan. And then Garcelle gets into it, and they bring up, this is going to be, Lisa Rinna says, this is going to be the last time we see Erica Jane before she's Roxy Hart in Chicago. And how crazy is it that I was Roxy Hart as well? I'm so excited for you, Erica, and what you're going to experience on that stage in New York. And Garcelle has just had it. And she goes, Rinna, you do know that every time you've brought up Erica starring on Chicago, you brought up that you did it too 18 years ago. Wow. Wow. Wow, Garcelle. Wow. Garcelle, you know me. You know that's not me. Well, I'm sorry. I have noticed it. Everyone's dying. Everyone's like feeling really uncomfortable. And then they say, well, I guess it's time for no one says why, but all of a sudden Garcelle and Sutton have to leave. They just get up and leave. Okay. And as they're leaving, Garcelle apologizes to Rinna for saying the snarky remark about Chicago. And they take off. And just then, they're all sitting there, and Kim is cued to say, oh, Brandy's in the neighborhood. And remember, you did invite her. Can Brandy come? And they're like, yeah, invite Brandy. Brandy shows up 2 minutes later in a pink dress with high heels, another high fake ponytail, and which she has this little ducktail on the back. Because, I mean, I don't think that she got a glam squad. I think she just plopped the ponytail on her head. And she has a wrapped gift, and she shows up, and she's like, I'm like, where am I going? Oh, I used to go here with the kids when the boys were little. And she sits next to Dorit, and Dorit goes, well, if you play your cards right, you might be able to come to the Capri room more often, mind you. As if it's like a VIP situation, but okay, good enough. Now, Dorit doesn't like Brandy because the last time they were together at the Black and White Party for Children's Hospital at Kyle's house, she said, I don't know you, Dorit, but you need to eat about 14 hamburgers and get your boobs fixed so they are fucked up. Says it to Dorit, okay? And Dorit is wearing a really great strapless dress. And for someone that's like really tall and skinny like Brandy, I do hate it when people say eat a sandwich. So I'm down with, yes, I think skinny people can be body shamed all the time, and that's annoying. And so Dorit did not appreciate that. So she's not a fan of Brandy's. She's Team Denise. So they start talking about the night they had sex, okay? And Brandy starts to say, well, what happened was we were making out, and I left some, marks on her. And Evan's like, what do you mean marks? What do you mean marks? And Erica Jane goes, she means love bites. Yeah, I left some love bites on her. And the next morning, Denise was like, if Aaron can never find out about this, he'll kill me. I'm going to tell him these marks are from my corset that I'm wearing in the movie that I'm filming. And that's when Brandy said she snapped and she realized, what? I thought you had an open thing. Now I have to keep a secret. I'm not a cheater. And that is why Brandy's now had to tell it on camera because she kept the secret all these months. And they start dissecting who could be telling the truth, who's not. She brings out her phone and Erica Jane's like, I don't care if Brandy and Denise slept together. All I know is there's a relationship there, a friendship, something. She told everybody I was a cold-hearted bitch. Hey, I believe her. But she did that and then came to Rome and denied it. And I don't like people not telling the truth. And I went through pages and pages and pages of texts of these two women talking, hi, honey, pretty mama, let's get together for a drink. But in all the texts that they showed on the show, there's nothing in there that was like, thanks for going down on me last night. I got you next time, girl. Sorry I fell asleep. How's my love bites doing? I got some Aveeno skin cream and it cleared it up. Thanks for sucking on it last night. Nothing. It was just a lot of how girls talk. Hey, pretty mama, want to get a drink? Oh, so could use the time. Need to catch up. How are you? It's stuff like that. So Teddy's like, again, I don't care if you slept together, but there's a relationship. And Denise said there really wasn't much of a friendship there. And we're looking at pages and pages of text convos. That tells me there is one. But there was one where, like, it seemed like Denise was, like, busy. And she's like, I'd love to get together, but I've got this show and this movie and this. And then Brandy's like, okay, totally get it. You're busier than I am. I just get insecure sometimes. And again, that could just be two friends where one is just got more going on than the other. But here we go. So Brandy says, okay, wait. So everyone's debating who's telling the truth. And then finally Brandy has it. And she goes, I sucked on her fucking clitoris, okay? And they beep it out. Some people thought she said, I sucked on her tit. But closed captioning caught it, and it's, I sucked on her fucking clitoris. And this is Lisa Rinna puts her hands up to her head. Thank God she had that ponytail to, like, hold her head up straight because she was about to die. And then Kyle freaks out, and the party's over. Oh, and by the way, in the middle of it, right before she talked about the clitoris, there were still like two girls left at the shower, just like getting an earful that are Teddy's friends. And Brandy's like, I don't really think this is the time to tell it. Like, we already got rid of Garcelle and Sutton for a reason. Can we get rid of these two girls? And these two girls are like, oh, I guess we can go. They're like, oh shit, it was just going to get good. So then at the very end of the episode, we see that Erica Jane, she's got her trunks of Louis Vuitton clothes all ready to go on the private jet to New York. And Mr. Girardi comes out and he goes, are you going to take care of my kid? That's what he calls her. Going to take care of the kiddo? To the assistant. And the assistant goes, we're going to see you more than we do see you now. Haha. She gets on the plane and she's like, wow, never in my wildest dreams. As I landed at the private airport across the way from where I used to strip in the New Jersey bar at 18 years old, that now I'd be starring as Roxy Hart on Broadway. And then at the last scene, we see that Lisa Rinna comes over in a trench coat and Kyle is casually dressed in a motorcycle hat and they're baking in her kitchen, talking again. What else? Lisa Rinna's like, I just want to know, like, what else has my friend Denise lied about? Because she said that she does not have an open marriage, yet it's pretty hard not to believe Brandy. And, oh, God. So then Kyle's making some food, and she's wearing this hat, and I just thought it was interesting because I remember when she wore a hat when she was in Lisa Vanderpump's kitchen, too. And that's when she goes, see yourself out, honey. Goodbye, Kyle. So she likes to cook in hats, is what I'm saying. It is still really good. I think we only have like 1 or 2 episodes left and then the reunion. And next week, there's another event. And Denise says, oh, I had a family emergency and doesn't come. And they really get pissed when people don't show up, when they have to show up to some boring event. And she doesn't. Oh, Lisa Rinna does not like when she has an earlier call time or a day of shooting where her castmates don't have to also get in glam and shoot as well. You know, she could be dancing with Harry fucking Hamlin. That's right. I could just be sitting in my house with my dogs and Lois dancing. Instead, I'm working for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and actually not getting what I think I deserve. So Denise Richards, you better tell the truth and own it. So you guys, I'm very excited for you to listen to this fun interview and juicy interview, an insightful interview about what's it like to actually be in yachting and what really happened, according to Hannah, this season on Below Deck. So here we go with Hannah from Below Deck.